would be offended. Meanwhile, the streamer was standing in the Injung dojo where he was going to fight. He smiled sweetly at the secretary and asked to take him inside the dojo. She let him inside while everyone else tried to figure out who he was. It seemed to the man with blue hair that he had already seen him somewhere. Batten introduced himself to everyone and said that he came here to kick their asses. The men were shocked by this news and were completely unhappy with the guest. The man with blue hair said that Batten had already been challenged, and it was unclear why he came here. Since Hwan is a representative of South Korea, then the guy decided to start with fighters. The fighters swore at the student and considered him unworthy of fighting with the strongest fighter. Batten told them that he would definitely meet face-to-face with this fighter. The main character asked the men if they knew how to fight, or if he would tell everyone that he won. The man with blue hair grabbed Loaf and they discussed the details of the fight. The blue-haired man asked him what conditions were needed to win. The streamer removed the man's hand and said that it would be clear in the process. He was angry and promised that he would beat Batten so much that he would have teeth in the dojo. Coach Jin was ready to take the fight from the hero, with the fighters supporting him. But the coach did not notice how quickly Batten ran up and already grabbed him. With the next blow, the guy knocked Coach Jin to the floor on his shoulder blades. All the other wrestlers were shocked and called Batten a monster. The main character watched as his points increased for the task. He began to ask the other fighters if they were ready to attack him. He was also shouted at for using dishonest skills to win. While the men were screaming, Coach Pei entered the hall and silenced them. The man shouted at Baton that he had done wrong and should have accepted Hwan's challenge. Coach Pei boasted about his achievements because he was a strong opponent. Baton grinned. He thought that fighting such an opponent would be even better. Pei gave Baton a minute to leave their dojo and the fight would not take place. The guy replied that he would leave only when he wins everyone here, because he does not intend to lose. The video in this battle were quite strong evidence of the protagonist's strength. The coach thought that he had no right to make a mistake, and he had to show his class. He developed a plan that first he needed to wear down his opponent, and then take him to a painful hold. Suddenly, the trainer began to fight and used his sharpest blow against Batten. Pei was about to think that his opponent had bought into the deceptive maneuver, but that was not the case. At that second, the student grabbed the coach by the hand, and he flew face first into the carpet. The enraged Batten believed that he could defeat him in this fight. The guy had already grabbed him from the back with his legs and was performing a chokehold. As he walked away, he said that their top three also turned out to be not the strongest and coolest. Pei stood up with a red face and stated that he had underestimated his opponent. He asked to fight again. Batten replied that he should get in line because his comrades also wanted to fight. The streamer asked him to wait, and when there were no fighters left, maybe he would give him another chance. Suddenly, the terrifying silhouette of the fighter Jiang Hu loomed over the main character. This man, without hesitation, ran into the guy. His blows were very fast. During the fight, Batten noted that he had fierce attacks and perfect defense. You definitely need to find a gap in his defense and only then attack. Then there will be at least some opportunity. Jiang Hu ordered his opponent to stop dodging his blows. The last blow was especially painful, but the main character managed to find its weak point. A couple of minutes later, the menacing man Jiang Hu was already lying on his stomach under the weight of the student. The guy said that the man with purple hair lost, but he tried to break free. And Batten simply demonstrated the Kimura hold on him, which Robin taught him. In the end, the guys thanked each other for the fight, and Jiang Hu admitted defeat. Sweaty Loaf asked if there were anyone else interested, and if not, he declared his victory. The other men decided to attack in a crowd and never let him leave this place. Therefore, they shouted that every single one of them wanted to fight the main character. Batten noted that he could barely stand on his feet and asked to give in to him, but the enemy was serious. It looks like they bought it, because in order to gain experience, the guy even turned off the air drying effect, and now it's time to show them what 10 units of stamina are. The next second, he began slapping everyone who came to hand, and 15 minutes later the guy stood on the floor among the exhausted fighters. Since no one else wanted to fight, Batten said that when there are no opponents, it is too boring. After that, he posted on his social networks that he had destroyed the first dojo and beaten 26 people. An hour later, a post appeared that he had destroyed the second dojo and beaten 11 people. The man with green hair was angry and did not understand what this loaf was trying to achieve. Another man said that the guy had definitely shown that he didn't want to dance to their tune. For a second, he thought about the fact that he warned them not to play dirty, but now they were in trouble. The man with the cross on his forehead thought that he was finished because this tyrant even defeated Jiang Hu. The official in charge of the MMA competition in South Korea assures members of the OFC meeting that he will not allow Batten to leave the country. Another man in charge of an MMA competition in Japan jokes about the hidden murder of an American striking down countless worthy fighters. The man, not appreciating the joke, offers to send the strongest to Seoul, counting on the fact that the main character will not be able to win. They will achieve victory only when the American is defeated in battle. The colleague is indignant that all the problems that have arisen were their own fault, and there is no need to complain about suffering. Overconfidence in actions responsible for fights is not such a bad thing. A proposal to invite Jin Xuan to the fight, deciding that Wan Liuya is not an opponent for this level of fighter. Jin Xuan is so good that he is now preparing for the UFC in America. He is #1 among South Korean fighters, therefore he should defeat Batten. The fighter is loyal, and if the martial arts world needs his help, he will return. But at the moment, the person in charge of the MMA competition in South Korea is sure that his help is of no use. They themselves will be able to destroy the intrepid student. Mr. James tells Kobayashi that he needs to prepare for the fight with Batten. Trouble happens. Many American fighters, including Robin, want to terminate the contract with the UFC unilaterally. The gentleman is so furious with this news that he does not believe what he heard. He's so mad that when he reads a message on his phone, he smashes it to pieces. He believes that in this way, the fighters themselves destroyed their future and wants to punish them for such betrayal. The man offers to calm down the gentleman, saying that even if the fighters pay a huge penalty, the UFC market in America will collapse overnight. The blonde asks to urgently arrange a ticket for Mr. James to America. Then there were indignations that the American people had recently become too stubborn. Lin Jun warned a long time ago that America and its fighters are no longer the same as they were a few years ago. The editor is told that after watching the video of Batten's fight in South Korea, one feels admiration, but at the same time, a little anxiety. If he returns to Japan and continues to do the same thing and becomes the object of everyone's hatred, then the comic book with his participation under contract, published tomorrow, will probably not meet with approval. The editor understands the man's anxiety, but cannot help but influence the fighters in any way, and therefore, they will just have to do their job. The old man understood the editor's instructions. He can only hope that everything will be all right with the comic. The next day, visitors began to come to the Japanese publishing house from the very morning and were interested in books. Batten is happy about the recently released comic and is already going to leave his review on the social network. He asks everyone not to switch because the show will continue, but after the commercial. Upon arrival in Seoul, Batten was immediately surrounded by many interviewers, eager for a bright sensation. With a slight maneuver, he diverts everyone's attention from himself and calmly walks into the building of the South Korean Martial Arts Center. He is met by many fighters who, most likely, are already preparing to fight him. He grins because, judging by the guy's pose, they are clearly not in the mood for a warm welcome. The door was locked either to play their dirty tricks or to prevent anyone from filming the carnage and posting it online. But Batten has a magic camera and he's not going to miss such anticipatory carnage. He introduces himself and, captivating with his attitude, warns those present that he will defeat them. The fighter threatens Batten that if he does not ask for forgiveness, things will not be sweet. But in response, he receives a refusal. Having dodged, the first time he grabbed the athlete's hand and twisted it, causing him to wince due to pain. The main character scoffs because the fighter only seems strong in appearance, but in reality, he immediately gave up. Another fighter suddenly swoops in from the side and delivers an unexpected kick to the jaw. Apparently, they agreed in advance to attack in turns, without even stopping. Despite his speed, Batten blocks all subsequent attacks with the blue-haired fighter's foot. Getting angry and intercepting the attack, he throws the athlete to the floor with incredible force. Suddenly another guy appears behind him and is about to throw through his chest. But he was disgraced because he could not even raise the baton to make his attack. The guy shows the loser a real masterclass, demonstrating everything on himself. He knocked the white-haired guy over his back with one hand and laid him down so that he would not continue the fight. The boys' coach is sure that Batten will not last long and tells them to continue in the same spirit. But within 10 minutes, he continues to defeat fighters. Their number has already reached 17. The coach understands that Batten has come to win by any means necessary and gives a sign allowing the two of them to attack him. Ignoring the screams, he continues to grab the purple-haired fighter's arm and is unaware of two more behind him. He receives a powerful blow to the stomach from his foot, causing him to start spitting blood. And even though there were two of them, he hit first one, then the second. The exhausted fighters fell down and did not continue the battle. Enraged, the brave Batten suggests not to be modest and to attack him all at once. All the guys instantly jumped out of their seats and rushed to Batten, who took a ready stance. It is unclear to everyone what he decided to do. He grabbed the hand of only one guy. Having spun around with it in place, Batten used it as an object and knocked down everyone who surrounded him. When the poor guy's hand slipped, he flew into his comrades who were nearby. The loaf was so fast that, dodging, the opponents could not keep up with him and attacked their own. Clearly determined to win, the guy with green hair jumps to throw a punch. But this was beyond his reach, because only as he approached did he receive a blow and slowly sag. The guys are angry for their comrades. They want to kill Baton by attacking him together. A fight ensues, during which they all get hit, but they also manage to hit the loaf. The hero's anger knew no bounds under its influence. He famously dealt with all the professional fighters in the area. A trembling ran through the coach's body. He saw a real monster in front of him, and not only his students could not cope with him. The journalists behind the door are indignant, because everything that is happening is hidden from their eyes, and they are at a loss as to how so many people cannot cope with one loaf. The South Koreans are seriously enraged and are ready to commit murder on him. Foreign students from America, on the contrary, are very worried and ask the Iron God to come out quickly, marveling at his sportsmanship. Loaf finally appears in the public eye, and everyone can see the consequences of what was hidden from observation behind the door. People greet Iron Man with delight about his non-mental victory over 100 people. He is immediately surrounded with questions about what is happening inside, his condition and tactics of action. But asking to wait, Batten takes a smug selfie and leaves the others at a loss. For safety, he is offered to get into the car and drive away, to which he agrees and thanks. A post appears on the streamer's page saying that he is jubilant at once again defeating another martial arts center. The Iron God posts a video showing how he single-handedly struck down 68 people, and it starts getting comments. An hour later, a post appears saying that the fourth dojo did not open the door for him, so he hit him without a fight. The loaf continues its journey across Japan, and every hour captures more and more combat centers. He has already hit 12 dojos, and judging by the route, he is heading south in search of the strongest fighter, Jin Xuan. Standing in thieves' glasses, he is as confident as possible in himself and is already going to Busan, his last stop. The guy shouts to Xuan that he arrived in Korea on time and they need his help. At the moment, everything begins to depend only on him. But the guy gets hit in the face because the fighter is not in a very good mood and shouts how he even dared to open his mouth. Xuan sends the guy and continues to swear despite the fact that his comrades are already calming him down. He tells the guy to kill himself because his mere existence is a real disgrace to heaven. The coach makes a remark to both of his students, warning that their enemy is already on the threshold and they should take this more seriously. The mentor explains the situation to Jin Xuan, saying that he himself gave the guy instructions to sit out. They need to defeat Batten in Busan, and then their reputation will be saved. Otherwise, they will suffer its collapse. Xuan humbled himself and agrees with everything the man suggests because he's his first mentor. The main step is to make a decision whether to accept the battle and develop tactics, or to refuse and not touch on this topic anymore. Thoughts about how good it will be if he wins Batten, and I don't really want to think about what will happen if he loses. The trainer advises them to abandon the fight, so that their dojo will not be considered defeated by the rest of the martial arts world. Everyone supports the decision to ignore the incident, in which case the team spirit and reputation remain with them. The fighter of the small detachment considers all this to be self-deception, expressing his opinion that people are not stupid and will understand everything. For him, the idea of turning away from a fight is terrible, because even if he has to die, it is better to do it in the ring. His point of view is also supported by the other guy, thus showing the fortitude of his spirit. The others also took their side. None of them want to be a coward and hide their heads in the sand. The coach cannot object to his students and offers to discuss tactics if they do not want to evade. His tactic is to reduce the number of fighters, and, in addition to Xuan, he invites 6 more who are willing to be brave. He asks non-participants to leave, becoming as serious as possible, to instruct his students and discuss tactics. Batten has already arrived and is receiving many questions about that very video, whether he is going to Japan and whether Xuan will accept the challenge. Ignoring those who want to interview him, he walks past and enters the building. The door closes again, most likely with the same intentions as last time. He didn't expect to see only a few people there whom he had already defeated, and does not yet understand whether Jin Xuan will be there. The fighter admits that Batten is strong and asks for forgiveness for what he said earlier on the internet. He bows, admits that he cannot win, and hopes that with this, Baton will return to his country. But Batten does not fall for this trick, taking it as if they are trying to please him. He ignores the guy and offers to start quickly, because he wants to finish quickly and start his business. The coach wants to continue the conversation with Batten, admitting that he is strong, but he is interrupted. The guy reveals their tactics and calls on his comrades to fall on the fighter, as agreed. They begin to hold him from behind and use caustic phrases, anticipating revenge for everything he has done. Batten understands that this time the guys have developed some kind of plan and are working harmoniously. The attacks begin to occur more often. Batten does not have time to react to them and misses a blow to the stomach. Only after freeing himself from the hands of some, he misses the sweep and falls to the floor. 4 guys immediately lean on him and press his limbs, thanks to which Batten became immobilized. Suddenly, a bald guy jumps from above and delivers the final blow to our hero. Blood spits out. He lies with his eyes closed, as if he is not going to continue the battle. Xuan appears and begins the countdown. It turns out that this was Batten's insidious plan, and he is very happy about the appearance of his main rival. Jin Xuan scoffs, saying that the guy looks pathetic and is clearly not ready to meet him. Self-confidently, he exclaims his victory as he prepares to deliver a key kick. But Batten is not going to give up because the time has come to use the invisible cap. His body begins to slowly disappear into the air, leaving his opponents at a loss as to what they are even doing here. While the fighters are looking for him, he stands up sharply, realizing that he has outwitted everyone by using a secret technique. The strongest fighter is scared. He does not understand how his opponent disappeared and realized that he was lured out on purpose. Baton is not going to talk in vain. Grabbing his hand, he is going to throw Xuan from behind. But the fighter successfully avoids the attack, bouncing off the baton, and realizes that the continuation will be very interesting. Xuan attacks and successfully bypasses the counterattack, because he has already become familiar with all the techniques of his opponent. He exclaims that he cannot be immobilized this way and performs a tackle from behind. Baton wins by force, opens the hands of the holder and twists one of them, breaking his shoulder. Xuan's comrades understand that he cannot cope and rather move forward to help with a general attack. The loaf demonstrates a real choke, a dangerous technique that can lead to death. With requests to let go, Xuan's comrades try to drag the enemy away, but nothing comes of it. He continues to count and choke. No one knows how to help, and this lasts until the moment Xuan gives up. The coach intervenes, asking him to stop, and says they will admit defeat. Even after admitting defeat, Baton did not plan to stop, but decided that it would be better at the moment. He asks if there are still applicants, and warns that if they are absent, he will recognize himself as the winner. The coach wonders if he will leave the country, since there is no one left in South Korea to fight him. The answer suggests that it will be as Baton himself decides. The coach is shocked by how much he wants to humiliate them. But the main character says that he started first, and if he had not put them in their place, they would have continued to mock them. He leaves, receiving an apology from the best trainer from the entire martial arts world. The poor old man is hysterical. He laughs at his own shame and says that Baton has no reason to stay in South Korea. When he left the building, he was met by many journalists shouting about his victory. People from the migration service appear. Apparently Baton has problems since he is asked to provide assistance. Unauthorized distribution of material is prohibited once it is discovered. There will be an investigation according to the law. The newspapers publish a sensation that the main character was arrested and does not communicate on social networks. The last battle was fought in Busan, in which 7 fighters were defeated. A new post about how everything is fine with Baton. He is going home because he was deported by the migration service. The Japanese State Tourism Office writes that it is glad to see him coming to the country. Upon arrival in America, he meets 2 people and clearly does not expect to see them here. These are people from the migration service. They ask his household to sign for him, and then he will be able to leave this place. He says that he warned his sister before the flight, hence she should do it. The sister is very angry and hits him on the head because he said that he was going to paint, but in reality, he got into a fight with everyone. She signs the documents and gives them back, but the girl from the migration service is surprised that she is the hero's sister. The blonde asks to keep it a secret. She is understood and told not to worry about it. A suggestion to disperse in different directions to avoid attracting attention from others. She says that Baton himself will understand why such a proposal is made when he goes outside. Having opened the door slightly, he can already hear enthusiastic cries about Iron Man and his victory. Even in America, a crowd of people crowded together. Fans and interviewers asked many questions of a bright personality. They intercepted Baton from all sides. His idea to wear an invisibility cap was good, but it was too late. He begins to pressure the public into pity that he is injured and tired and trying to return home quickly. All the girls showed compassion and rather took one photo and sent it home. The photo was shared. He smiled awkwardly among most of the girls, but everyone was happy. The system notified that the 3rd stage has been completed and the title of hero has been received. Charm and celebrity have been added. Due to his increased charm, all the girls in the area are madly in